Monty Barrett. Originally lost to Hasim Rockman.
We're going to get them. We're going to get them. Did any of those shots, did you feel any of those? Nothing. Take a couple deep breaths through your mouth. Through your nose, I'm sorry. Okay, now, a little bit better. You keep going to that left uppercut, but bring the chop right hand right behind it, okay? If you lead right hand on them, you're going to get hit with that counter right hand, okay? You can't. I told you what to do. Throw the jab, feint that right, and let them counter you with that left. And then you counter with that left hook. You got to get trickier now. You got to let your hands go more. You got to start sneaking down to the body from the outside, okay? We do that, and we got this fight in the back. Now, I'll tell you what. You probably got a couple rounds here. He's got a couple rounds here. I'll tell you what. This is where we need to use our conditioning. Our conditioning. Do you understand? Okay. Here we go.
There may be nobody better at dissecting a fight and breaking it down as a trainer than Joe Goossen.
Yeah, and he's very calm in the corner, and he's very precise, and that's one of his
strengths.
Yeah.
I guess the biggest problem here tonight for Guinn, although he's been more active than usual, is that he's been fighting too much on the inside, not doing the right things when he's on the inside. And you got to remember, he's going up against a guy, James Toney, who is a terrific fighter from close quarters.
Now there's a double left hook from Guinn. It's the punch you have to throw against Toney. And in recent years, Tony's been hit with that punch a little bit more. In the old days, it was still hard to even hit him with that.
That was the best sequence of the night for Guinn.
But again, here's Guinn languishing on the inside. Look at the jab. See that? When he's got some distance, that can work. So let's make no mistakes. From the outside, Tony's been pretty good as well.
Holding. Thank you.
And Tony's such a precise body puncher. And he prefers a guy coming at him. So he can counter punch.
Absolutely.
And Guinn's answering. James Toney.
I'll tell you what, though, this is good action on the inside. It's enjoyable to watch some very good inside fighting by both these men.
Look at these shots by Toney, and he's on the ropes.
He's just good at this. He's been good at it for 15 years or more.
Wade said he's the consummate pro. You just always see, he's so intelligent, so crafty. Look at these shots to the head and to the body by Toney.
And this is a posture for Dominick Guinn. It's not the place where he normally would be. He can fight on the inside some, but much more effective on the outside using his height and reach.
So Toney really picking up the pace here. Has the higher work rate, and his punches are accurate.
That was low, Dominick.
He doesn't waste his punches, I'll say that. He's economical.
See, Guinn's laying on him, but not doing anything. And it's always Toney that's able to get something done at this juncture. The uppercuts, the chopping right hands, and the same punches are landing over and over again.
And you got to wonder if this is wearing Guinn out for the later rounds. I mean, Tony's got some heavy hands, and he's using them right here. 2 overhand rights.
Normally, if you would smother a fighter like this, it would work to your benefit, but not when it's James Toney. He's so adept at fighting off those ropes.
And he's got underrated hand speed, too.
Yes. Oh, and especially in the heavyweight division, where he's certainly the quicker of most of the fighters he's going to face.
And that's what makes a possible matchup with Guinn. He's ready.
And remember, Freddie Roach said to us the other day, no work with weights for this fight. He said your attribute is hand speed. Now, there's a little blood from the mouth for James Toney now.
But he's getting them in. Left uppercut, nailing him with everything.
What punch hasn't James Toney thrown? It's been a variety of shots.
Shown his entire arsenal here.
Time!
Oh, shit.
What Dominick Guinn needs to do is get these left hooks in. Now, they weren't fantastic punches, but they worked. And they pushed James Toney back. But when they're in this posture, James Toney has better hand speed. He's a more skilled inside fighter. And he will come at you with a variety of different punches to both the body and the head. And whether Guinn shakes his head or not that it hurt him, the fact is Toney is landing repeatedly with these shots and has been very, very effective on the inside.
You picked up on the blood. It appears as if Toney is bleeding in the mouth.
Center, please.
And we begin round 7. It's scheduled for 12 for a fringe heavyweight title, currently owned by Toney. But he wants the real one.
Now Toney using his jab, and he's used that punch for the most part. We may realize at the end of this fight that James Toney's thrown as many or more jabs than Dominick Guinn, and that's not a good sign for Guinn. Oh, beautiful double left hook on the inside by Guinn. It's exactly what he needs more of. If he's going to languish on the inside, he's got to rip left hooks to the body and the head to James Toney. It's the only way to beat him on the inside.
Let go. You're holding. Okay, thank you.
So the left hook has been the best weapon of Guinn. He's got tools, but it's his temperament that's been a question. At times just too laid back. And it's probably more mental than physical with Dominick.
Now he says he's been sparring up to on some days up to 14 rounds. Joe Goosen, oh, that beautiful double left hook.
Oh, and a right uppercut by Toney.
Joe Goosen, a trainer who one of his strengths is conditioning his fighters. They are always in great condition, and that was one of the areas that Guinn was lacking in.
And one of the reasons Corrales had such success back in May.
Precisely. James Toney a moment ago threw a right to the body and a right uppercut, a combination not too many fighters throw, and you see everybody, all three of the press row scorers, going for James Toney, and I also have James Toney ahead in this fight.
I mean, this is really a huge fight for Guinn. A victory, he's back in the mix. A loss, and he goes to the back of the line. In a wide-open heavyweight division, I mean, it's there for the calling.
Now, this has been a little bit better round for Dominick Guinn. And look at it. If he uses that left hand continually on the inside, he's able to make some things happen.
Toney really scoring with that uppercut. There's a slapping right hand that connected by Toney to the chin. Then the left hook, followed by a right. All Toney. Toney having success fighting off the ropes. Guinn missing with the right, a chopping right, but a grazing, glancing blow. Had no effect whatsoever on Toney.
Hold your elbow on his head.
Guinn just continues to come into Toney's office, and he is paying the price.
You're holding, you're holding.
Now, in this round, Guinn has been more active, but is he winning the round? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I just think Toney is landing more punches and effective.
Time!
This fight and the story of this fight has been the distance or lack of distance between the two fighters. And on the inside, James Toney, especially fighting off the ropes, is able to land a variety of punches like that left hook you just saw. Left hooks, uppercuts, body punches. That's an impressive array of punches James Toney is landing. This is a place where he is very accustomed to fighting. And he throws creative combinations, the right to the body and right to the head. Not too many fighters will throw that. And you see the hand speed of James Toney during this montage. This has been a fight fought at close quarters with Toney on the ropes. That's not a good recipe for success for Dominick Guinn.
Let's go. Come on. Take him to school, Tom. Take him to school. Every round. Out of there.
As we go into round 8, scheduled for 12. James Toney clearly in the lead. But Dominick Guinn looking better than he has in the last few fights.
And facing even better competition, although Sergey Lakovich, certainly a good fighter when he faced him. But, you know, he's in against arguably one of the 1 or 2 or 3 best heavyweights out there. The clubbing right hand, oh, look at the uppercuts by Toney. And now he's talking to Joe Goosen in the corner. Yeah. And, of course, they know each other very well.
Well, you know what? Obviously, the heavyweight division needs to be livened up, and this may be the guy to do it. James Toney.
He's certainly not a shrinking Violet.
Although his trunks are not shrinking, but violent.
You can see that James Toney, much more experience and, of course, a great deal of success after the 7th round. So many of his fights have gone the distance, and obviously, for the most part, he's been very successful. When Guinn has underachieved his those 12-rounders. Well, now Toney is being the showman, landing a right hand and then looking away.
Remember the Holyfield fight? He kept looking at the judge. He wanted to make sure the judge saw that punch.
Not content to leave the commentary to us, is he?
Exactly.
No, he's performing very well. The only thing Dominick Guinn can take solace from, maybe, and I'm saying maybe, of course, is that the work rate of Toney will slow because of his age, because of the extra weight, but he shows no sign of it, and you have to think he won't.
And just popping punches off Guinn's head. Perhaps that's one thing in the back of Guinn's mind to get this fight as deep as possible and hope that conditioning and age will take its course against Toney.
The problem is that Dominick Guinn, even in this posture, isn't ripping the body of Toney. He's not really making him pay. And so, you know, there's not a lot of reason to think Toney will slow down.
Family members of James Toney emblazoned on his trunks.
I think Dominick Guinn has chosen strategically the wrong approach. He's on the inside, and it's negated his jab and his straight right hand that could help set up a better left hook. Instead, he's fighting Toney's fight. He really is.
And Joe Goosen is telling him that. I mean, he's instructing him the correct way. It's just going to sink in better. There's a nice right hand by Toney upstairs.
They want more distance, and Guinn just isn't giving it to him. And it's Guinn's choice. He's making a choice here. But part of that is, I think, even at long range, you see James Toney's effective with his jab and some of the other combinations he's throwing.
Again, Dominick Guinn is playing Toney's game, and he just stares him down. Well, he touched gloves with the ref.
Nice shot. I'm not finishing him with the hook, man. Beautiful.
Well, James Toney is an intriguing individual, make no mistake about that. First of all, he's a talented fighter, and he shows that at the beginning. Now, he's talking to the crowd, and then while he's talking to the folks at ringside, he decides, I'm going to throw a combination and land. And, you know, there are not too many people that can do this. He's chatting, and Dominick Guinn's not making him pay, and then Toney rips shots on the inside. That's a nice combination, and takes time to look at Jane 80, looking for a comment, perhaps.
Then he shook his hand. Still talking. He is a showman, a little wink, and he's ready to continue. Round 9 comes running out from the corner.
Time!
Explain to me, as they will look at the tape and the gloves, how James Toney can be at his all-time high weight.
No coaching, please.
Yeah, 230.
Be a heavyweight and be more active. Now, part of it is no injuries. You know, he's feeling okay about himself, but you look at him, that's an active guy who's weighing more than he's ever weighed.
7 years older.
7 years older than his opponent, and he's the guy that's more active.
Wait a minute, maybe he's
Thank you.
really is 27. He told you in the interview he's 27, not
Time
37.
in.
You're right, I doubted him. Let's take a look at that birth certificate.
He has found the fountain of youth.
Just a very nice effort by James Toney. It really is. And you know what makes it even better? It's fashioned on the inside when Guinn does that, and it's fashioned in the center of the ring with jabs and body shots and uppercuts and all the rest.
He is just brimming with confidence right now, Al. He's flicking that jab.
And Dominick Guinn has fallen into that I'm not going to punch too much syndrome that he's gotten in before. That right hand they've shook Dominick Guinn.
And now he throws a whole mess of punches, and he's yelling something.
How about
Somebody in the crowd.
For the first time, we saw Dominick Guinn hold on.